One of the biggest mistakes online shoppers make is they search for the store with the lowest price. They'll be looking for a specific product, and they'll go online, they'll do a search for it, and they'll browse through the different sites and see who has it for the cheapest. This time of year, we always see the same thing. A whole bunch of phantom stores just pop up. And they're there for a couple of weeks, and then they disappear with your credit card and your money, and you don't get anything. So that's one of the bigger, more common mistakes. And it's easy to make. The only way you'd actually know if this was a real site versus a phantom site is checking the registration records on the site to see how long it's been in business, doing some basic analysis of how long has this site actually been online? Does anybody know anything about it? What are the reviews? If you use a credit card versus a debit card, usually a good idea. Part of the reason with that is, if you talk to the credit card companies and the banks, they'll tell you, well, your liability is the same whether you're using a credit or debit. You can get your money back. It's not an issue. And that's sort of technically correct, but it becomes a lot more complicated when you're shopping online or in a Main Street store with a debit card and it gets compromised. Because not everybody's got millions of dollars in their bank account. You wake up one morning and your account's cleaned out, and you just maybe you just sent your rent check in, or your mortgage payment, or your car payment, and all these checks bounce, right? Who's going to pay for that? I mean, is your bank going to reimburse you for that? That gets a little more complicated. So I always tell people, if you have a choice between debit or credit, use a credit card. The other thing I would say is it's this time of year, the holidays are when the scammers kick into high gear. They start blasting out a lot more spam, malicious spam, and it's important for people to remember the basic stuff. Don't be responding to spam in any way. Don't click links or open attachments in things you're not expecting. We also see a spike in phone scams around this time of year. So people calling you up saying, hey, there's been a problem with your account, your credit card, we need you to read us the credit card number or something like that. So online safety is good, but it's good to keep in mind that the scams of all types kind of ramp up around this time of year. Increasingly, the bad guys aren't targeting weaknesses in your computer. They're targeting the user. So they try to make you do things that are not in your best interest. So I always tell people, be mindful of what you're doing. Pay attention to the stuff that is on your computer that you have installed, the programs. Keep them up to date. I think most people are familiar with operating system updates from like Microsoft and Apple. But a lot of folks don't get that the bad guys have actually moved to targeting the browser, because that's the way most people interact with the web. And so increasingly they're targeting vulnerabilities in the browser, all these little programs that plug into the browser. So Flash, Adobe Reader, whatever it is, that stuff, there are security updates for these programs every month, and it's really important that people keep up to date with this stuff.